is Drilling Deep, and his stable name is Bullwinkle, and that came from his racing connection. So we're calling him Winkle or Bullwinkle, which is very cute. Much, much cuter than Drilling Deep, who is by his sire is Drill, who I'm not familiar with. So it's sort of interesting to meet, just a totally different line. And this is a 3 year old, a big growthy 3 year old. He sticks about 16'1". I forgot to stick him actually, but he's definitely at least 16'1". And he's just sort of like a big lanky baby. And he's just the sweetest guy ever. He's just totally adorable. His racing connection said that this could totally be a horse for a kid, which I agree with at some point a little bit down the line once he's learned some of the ABCs of riding, but just such a sweet, easygoing personality, super duper friendly, wants to go in for the cuddles and all the treats and all the things. Just a really pleasant horse to be around, both on the ground and on his back. I debated posting this. I almost didn't make this video, but then I thought there's no harm in just sort of showing what it is really like to be starting a 3 year old who's only had one career start, which I'm sure my friend Emily was exaggerating, but she sort of jokingly told me that he lost his one and only start by 69 lengths, which is sort of hilarious. If you go and read the race notes from that one race, it does say that he was trailing for the entire race, which is very funny. But also, after riding him today, I can completely see that. This horse is going absolutely nowhere fast. He is so quiet and easygoing. And he has the biggest, floppiest ears ever. And they're so cute. And I just love it how they just sort of flop around all relaxed as we go. They're so adorable. So, a good ride on a 3 year old, especially a good first post track ride on a 3 year old that doesn't know much, is going to be really boring. So, I apologize because this video is boring. But if you're having a boring ride on baby horses, then that probably means you're having a really good day because when it gets exciting, that's when things aren't going so great for me. So I was really, really happy with him and his whole attitude about this. He feels extremely green, totally broke. You can swing a leg over, no issues there. But just like Gumby, they can't even begin to think about being soft until they're straight, and they can't be straight until they can steer. So we're starting at phase one, which is steering. And so I only showed a minute or two of the walk, but I probably spent a good 10, 12 minutes when I got on just at the walk, both directions, getting him turning and steering. And when I say steering, I don't just mean my hands. I mostly mean actually getting him sort of on my train tracks between my legs and getting him to sort of follow the end of the rein. But mostly I'm thinking about keeping his shoulders as they're not straight, but that's what we're working on, is getting his shoulders straight and then just getting him to sort of follow the lead that's coming from the rein. So you can see there's some small steering woes, but he's always listening, he's always trying, and in the end he always makes the right choice. So I have absolutely no complaints. And what I will say is, even though obviously he's not round, he's not in a place yet where he can be round. He's very much, it's not like he's inverted. He's not opposed to the contact at all. He just is totally, bewildered. He doesn't know what's going on, but he's very neutral about the contact. And actually, he does give me a couple of steps in the trot where he is honestly thinking about softening and coming round, and in the canter, actually. So it's going to be right there, but it's just going to take the time that it takes to get this, lanky, growing baby horse to be straight. And then once he's straight, he'll come round. And right now, I'm just thrilled that he's happy to let me get on and kick him around the ring and get him thinking about steering. And he's just such a good egg. I thought these were some really nice steps here in the canter. He's like the ultimate blank slate because he doesn't know a lot, but he's not opposed to anything. And I don't think he's had any bad experiences in life. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Billy told me that when he picked him up and he talked to his racing connections, they actually semi rescued him out of a really bad situation where he was really skinny and not well taken care of. But obviously, he hasn't felt that trauma because he's just totally a good guy, very happy go lucky horse. So to the right is always harder. That's just a rule of life, especially with green horses. And people think that that's just because they're thoroughbreds. I actually don't think it is. I think this stands pretty readily across most breeds in what I've seen, and it's mostly because we tend to do everything with horses from the left, so the left comes naturally for them, or easier, I should say, and that's our fault. So of course I let him go to the left first because that was easier. And before this trot clip, we spent like at least 5 minutes just walking to the right, making sure that we understood the terms of the agreement, which is that we're going to turn around the ring and go where I'm asking him to go. And he was very good about it. And so he's just getting lots of pats for steering, for staying relatively straight. And I really just want this to be a good experience for him. I want him to feel like this was a fun thing to do and that there's no stress happening here. I just love those big ears he has. That was a pretty good turn. I like the quality of this trot. He's relaxed, he's happy, he's thinking. And actually, at this point, I was thinking, okay, it's time to do this right canter. Hopefully, I can get him to steer in a circle around the ring. Sort of lost the shoulder there. Little discussion about where that outside shoulder is supposed to go. He's very good about picking up both leads. That is the nice thing sometimes about these young ones is that they don't even know what they don't know. So they're just very, you can sway them very easily. They're easily molded. Little conversation there about, of course, obviously I expect that first time that we're going around that gate short side and the right canter is always going to be the toughest. But actually, that was pretty good. It's not like he stopped and dragged me back to the gate. So that was a good boy. And then every time after that got a little bit better. And I like his canter. I mean, I just like how rhythmic he is here. I love his flopping ears. They just totally give away his mindset. I just like his whole attitude about it. Lots of pats for trying to do all the things I'm asking him to do. And then here he's actually starting to think about finding the contact at the end of the rein. And I think that was his best turn yet. He thinks that's pretty hard. He wants to break, so that was plenty. That was actually lots of cantering. Really good boy. And this horse is always happy to come back to the next lowest gate. And then this is just him on cross ties. Just super sweetheart.